Right, so in your energy today, okay, so you've got some good cards. Spirit's asking you not to care so much. I think basically you're starting a new life because it says bye-bye old life, okay? So you're probably maybe starting something new, or you've made some massive change. But you're being asked not to feel so bad. So this could be romantic, it could be people, places and things. Just put it where it fits. But essentially you don't need closure. So you could have possibly said goodbye to your old life without officially saying goodbye. You might have just, removed your energy. Spirit wants you to know that you are a bold spirit and you're stepping into your best decade that you've had so far, and for you to trust this, okay, because you are healing. Welcome high vibrations, and greatness is yours, okay? Perhaps you could use golden light to help bring this energy to you, but Spirit just wants you to know everything's okay. You can use prayer, golden light, and just basically stop worrying. God's got you, okay? And if you do feel bad at times, you're being asked not to, and if you care too much at times, you're being asked not to. Everything is okay. Right, so we've got something, and also relax. We've got relaxing here, so perhaps if you could get the chance today to do that, do that. And try to just like bathe in this knowledge that Spirit's here and God is with you, and you're on a new journey. And your new journey looks good. It looks like you are going to have a job offer. And if it's not a job offer, it could very well be a new project that you're doing. But we've got fame out here, and obviously not everybody wants to be famous, and it's not everyone, that's not everyone's bag. But I think you're going to be stepping into something that's going to be very good for you, at the very least. It brings success to you. So it could be simple as a hobby, but of course it could be something much bigger, so just take that where it fits. Spirit wants you to know that you have quite a lot of psychic gifts, and your energy is going to be increasing. And the people that you have let go of, if it is people, because I think it might be things, not just people, whether they know it or not, they're thankful that you entered their life, and Spirit wants you to know that. And we've got a Leo out here, but again, star signs don't particularly matter, but it does make me feel like somebody that might have been passionate about you. And yeah, so I guess what Spirit's trying to say is, even if they don't say it, they are. Or they may well come along and say that. We do have the twin flame card out here when I cut that deck, and we will be together again, and hope. So this makes me feel like it's maybe their energy, because we have got the I'm going to be the person you deserve came out sideways. So it makes me think you possibly have left something romantic. But again, it doesn't have to be, but it could be a high level soulmate, or you could have left several things here. But I feel like somebody's going to be getting better. Oh, and I forgot to say, travel might be involved in your future, possibly with this job offer. Anything else, Spirit, for the highest good of all in God's will? Yeah, so I think you're being asked to ground yourself. Perhaps you have had, you've made a really big change recently. Perhaps you were spending a lot of energy doing whatever it was that you were doing. And even if maybe it's just like energetic chords, like you were thinking about it a lot, or putting things in a different pecking order, and now the pecking order's changed in your life. So I have mentioned it before, but to do grounding, it's helpful to put your feet actually on the ground like the earth. But if you're not able to do that, you can always imagine red roots coming from your feet into the ground, as far into the earth as you can imagine, and imagine it going around like a solid rock. I tend to do like a clear quartz crystal rock, but you don't have to, just to ground yourself. But I'm sure there are other ways, but I just thought I'd mention it again, just in case, for those who don't know. Yeah, so maybe I'm tapping into someone today who has or I'm pulling on the energy of somebody in your energy field who's sort of anguish, like feels anguish about these memories. Now you're stepping basically into a new chapter. You're moving on, and I think these people might feel a bit stupid, is what I'm getting. Maybe they took you for granted. But yeah, Spirit wants you to know that these people are in anguish, and maybe you're feeling a bit of anguish because of what's in your energy field. But I'm hearing it's leaving your energy field, because your energy is going to increase once it's truly left. Yeah, so you've left something behind. You don't want a new, you've decided that you don't want a new beginning here. You want to manifest something else, something new. Perhaps Spirit's guided you. Yeah, exactly. Intuition card is here to start on a new journey. And again, it could be a hobby, it could be a new relationship, it could be a project, or just a new mindset. Anything else, please, Spirit? Yeah, so perhaps you had somebody in your energy field that had a bit of a poker face, didn't really truly let on how they felt about you, and that's why they feel stupid, perhaps, because it didn't get them anywhere. I'm hearing it might have even brought them bad luck, but put that where that fits. Yeah, so you're whatever you're stepping into now, that you're getting more grounded, now that you're listening to your intuition more, now that your energy is increasing, now that you're thinking about what you want to manifest next, or if you could be doing that right now, you're just more balanced. You're just more, the energy is more balanced. Perhaps you were in a situation where it really wasn't balanced, and it's only now you can recognize it, or you will be in the future. Yeah, so it could definitely be involving a connection. It doesn't have to be. I think this connection, I have a feeling that you might have had a good time in this connection. Like, you made this person laugh a lot. I'm feeling like they found you funny. And if it's not that, it's just, it wasn't all bad, or they made you laugh a lot. There's something warm about it, even if it wasn't supposed to be forever. Although this person believes you will be back together again, and maybe Spirit's letting you know that's going to happen, who knows. So Spirit wants you to know that you're very courageous, and you're essentially healing your heart. I think for the most part you have healed your heart. Obviously healing is a lifelong journey, so it's not something that just all of a sudden you've just done it and you never have to do any more healing again. But whatever you're saying goodbye to, where you don't need closure particularly, and you're saying goodbye to, your heart's going to heal more. Maybe you weren't able to get in, alignment upside down. You're going to be in more alignment. Whatever imbalance was around prior to this closure, it was taking you out of alignment. I don't think you were fully out of alignment. I think I'm talking to someone who's quite spiritual, but you're going to be more so now that you've stepped into this energy of more trust. I think more trust in the universe. Stop worrying, God's got you. It's like you're putting the bags down, the heavy bags that didn't belong to you anyway. And again, my eyes are being brought to the twin flame card, so I do think it could very well be to do with the twin flame journey, but it doesn't have to be. So prior to this, the imbalance was that you were dealing with a lot of fear, and it may well have not been your fear. It may well have been what was in your energy field. You were just colluding with energies that lived in a lot of fear, and you were absorbing it. Especially if I'm talking to someone today who's naturally a bit of an alchemist, you can gravitate to those situations unconsciously, and you're there to alchemize the energy. And maybe you're starting to become more discerning and realizing where you put your energy, what you want to alchemize. And I think for the most part you're choosing to alchemize your own energy now, because you're possibly around people that made you not feel like you were good enough, and and maybe this leaks into your own thinking. But Spirit's asking you to be kind to yourself. The teddy bear cards here, which doesn't necessarily mean that, but the feeling I got is, you know, just be kind, be lovely to yourself. You deserve it. You've been through a lot here. Yeah, rest again. So we've got 2 rest cards. And I'm thinking like rest your mind, maybe rest your intuition a little bit. I mean, I don't like, it's just because I'm seeing the purple there, it's making me think third eye. So just, it's obviously these are all just like little suggestions from Spirit. You never have to do anything, and very often it's just confirmation. But yeah, I'm thinking meditation, you know, like maybe do a bit of meditation just so you're not thinking so much. Maybe you get a lot of downloads and psychic hits and things, and perhaps if you did some meditation it would clear that up a little bit. I think you were possibly in an energy of just, you were hoping one day you would be seen here, one day you would get treated the way you wanted to be treated, one day like a sort of, and you gave up that one day, you know, like one day they'll see me as enough, one day, and that's finished. It's you know you're enough. God has made it clear to you, and if that hasn't happened yet, this is a sign to let you know. And I do believe your spirit team will be bringing things your way for you to realise God made you. You are enough. Yeah, so whoever you've said goodbye to or closed the chapter with doesn't want to say goodbye. That's why the coffin is upside down. Yeah, it's bringing them a lot of conflict. I think it's bringing them conflict because they know you're not heartbroken about this situation. That's why you can close the door. I don't think it means that you don't love this person or you care about these people or something like that. I think you just know that you've got to step into a new chapter and being brought to bye old life. It's, you trust that this is a period exactly of you, time to heal, time to integrate your shadow, time to appreciate yourself, time to take stock of what it is that you want, time to balance the fear rather than, and calling back your power basically. Perhaps for a long time you were healing other people, giving your energy out, outsourcing it, and now you're bringing it back in, and you weren't able to heal as well as you will be able to now. You could very well have people in your energy field that are bitter about this, but that's okay. Everything's okay. You know, people deal with chapters ending differently, and things can move. You know, sometimes people can feel bitter for 6 months and then they move into a period of thank you for entering my life. Yeah, you were possibly drowning in these situations previously and you're not anymore, and that's why you sort of, I feel like you were drowning and you've come to shore. You're at the shore and you're very certain you're not going to dive back into that sea and risk the drowning. You found some land, you're planting some good things, you're listening to yourself, you're listening to your body, you're taking the rest that you need. You don't want to be around people that make you feel like you're less, you know, taking jabs, and even if it's like sideways digs, you know, like, especially because the psychic cards out here, you're going to really feel it. You're going to feel it. It's not just going to be, you know, to somebody who's not as, I was going to say porous, but I think as is in tune, the words might just slide off them, but they don't with you because of your sensitivity, which is why you've got these psychic abilities. And if it's not that, just, you know, high level intuition, and you're choosing to step away from that because that's their shadow, and we all have shadows, but for the most part I think yours is reasonably in check. It doesn't mean you're perfect, but you don't go around trying to undermine people and make people feel a certain way so you can feel better. I don't get that energy here. Yeah, so you've essentially escaped this, okay? Escaped a place where possibly you couldn't even really express yourself fully, at the very least. Maybe, you know, like you didn't yeah, I think you felt trapped. Maybe you felt obligated to fill a role, or, but that's over now. You're going to start feeling like you're not going to have fear about expressing who you are and what you think. Yeah, stress is upside down. I think you're tapping into somebody who was very stressed. And by distancing yourself from this, you're going to be ascending if you've not already. Yeah, the hammer's upside down because you don't want to fix this. You've come out of the sea and you've drowned. You're drowning a lot in that, you're basically in a shipwreck, and now you come to shore, you're sort of like, I don't really think I'm going to risk going into the sea. Even though you can survive it, God shows you can survive shipwrecks. This is all metaphors, hopefully. Yeah, you've released this. Thank you, Spirit. I think engagement ring is upside down because maybe for some of you, you were half hoping, if not fully hoping, somewhere, even if you weren't telling yourself, you were hoping that somebody would commit to you properly. And if you were committed to them, you were hoping for something better, like more from them. And you've released that, you've let that go. That's why you can say bye-bye old life. That's why you don't need closure. But again, only put that where that fits, because not everyone is in a romantic situation. Yeah, so you essentially just gained a new perspective. And you were very patient with this energy. You were in that sea for a long time, flexing your survival skills. But you're at the shore now, and you've got a different perspective. And it's probably not an accident. This is a sea. They're looking out on a sea. They're not in the sea. Perhaps you'll be going to the sea soon, or you have been, or you live by one. Yeah, so it feels like nice energy. It feels safe energy, like you did it. You did it. And I'm sure you'll thank, even if these people didn't behave healthy choices upside down, particularly in the way that you wanted them to, that would have, contributed to your evolvement and nourishment. I think one day, if you're not already there, you will thank them for entering your life, because it allowed you to recognize what you wanted and what you didn't want. And that doesn't excuse bad behavior. This is more sort of looking at it from an eagle's vantage point, so very high up, where you can see sort of the mechanics of how things have worked. And I think you will be thankful, even though the lesson was hard. You don't go around saying, drowning is wonderful, give it a go. But you'll be pleased that you're not anymore, and recognize the strength that you ended up growing within yourself, or just rediscovering in yourself, that's allowed you to step on this shore with this new perspective, and you essentially walk through a new portal, if you haven't already. You probably have with the ascending cards, and if you haven't, you will be. Yeah, so whatever the situation was, it's time's up for that. It's over. And it's also time over for anybody who just doesn't make you feel, like backstabbing, that kind of energy. And again, it doesn't have to be, it's just pain, whether it be people playing power struggles, not acknowledging you. There's just something that just feels a little bit off. So it doesn't have to be as dramatic as drowning, but you can drown in a bath of water of a few inches if you fell asleep. It doesn't have to be a sea, and the outcome is the same. Yeah, you're in pain. I think you're in deep pain in this situation. And it was people that were competitive with you and possibly were trying to pretend they weren't. Yeah, but you're more diligent now. Perhaps you didn't know anything. You didn't even know if shore existed. You didn't know. Maybe most of your life you've just been in that sea. Nearly drowning, nearly drowning. Treading water. Sharks about. And then one day you found shore. Spirit helped you find it. So now you can be diligent. Yeah. You could very well have signed up for this, you know, like we'd all sign up for karma, especially people that have been here many times. You can sign up for harder lessons because you know everything's safe. And you know that you'll get there eventually, you know, like, not to, again, please don't think for a moment I'm ever saying, oh, it's okay what happened when things are terrible and awful and shouldn't exist. But unfortunately, the dark side does exist. You know, there's a dark side to life, as there is a dark side to everything. Yeah, so you're not waiting for this person's apology. You could very well consider this person to be shallow. Perhaps they haven't had to survive shipwrecks and drown in deep seas or something like that, but it could be a divine masculine, although I don't really feel like the energy is divine masculine. But the conflict is over. You've accepted whatever it is, that you don't need closure from it. You're just going to rise above it. Yeah, this person didn't want you to shed this situation, but it suited them. You know, you're not being on steady ground. Yeah, they didn't want you to have a choice, and it's like spirit elevated you. Obviously I'm using metaphors, but I just feel like you're more grounded now. That's why we got the grounding earlier. When you're in water, you're not as grounded. You look, your feet are on the ground. Karma again. Tell me more, please, spirit. Yeah, I just saw past life upside down, but it does make me feel like this could be past life karma that you agreed to. Karma's lessons. You know, you could be clearing it up for your bloodline and things like that. Very often, if you've been here many times before, that's what you do. Again, I'm not excusing anything. Yeah, so finalities here. Yeah, so this person's feeling hopeless in this silence that you've created. This person could be secretly stalking you. I just saw 22:11 on the clock. Yeah, this person might be seductive in nature. I'm seeing karmic relationship. If you have social media, but they have very seductive thoughts about you. So this makes me think, you know, somebody who's interested in you romantically. Yeah, so they're longing, but they're longing because they want you to join them in this karmic situation. They want you to enjoy drowning and surviving, drowning and surviving, but you've had enough. You want simplicity. That was all very exhausting. You found the shore. Yeah, so this person may well come forward saying it's only you that they love and they got distracted. But I don't really feel like the energy of that you, not that you don't care, but you've moved on from this. Okay, so we'll be together again. This cup flew out. I think they're scared that you won't be. I think they just always assumed you would be there. So I do feel like they feel like the ground has been taken away from under their feet and you found the ground. So it's like the energy's changed. Yeah, so this person stays awake thinking about you. Yeah, and they remember everything about the first day that you met, I'm hearing. Like it was yesterday. Yeah, so this person knows you don't want a celebration with them, a union with them. They know you've gone to that shore and you're sure on that shore that you're manifesting something new. You don't want somebody that's interested in loads of options, and you're not interested in being patient with that energy. I just saw King of Wands and Leo came out earlier. So it could be fire sign, but it doesn't have to be. I'm not obsessed with star signs particularly because it's just energy. Yeah, so it's probably not an accident that spirits keep telling me to say drown, drowning, drowned. We've got Six of Cups upside down, and I think this person is drowning now. You found shore. in memories of you. They just didn't think you were going to go anywhere. Yeah. This person was a Knight of Wands upside down. So they were very careless with you. And again, it could be people. It does feel like a romantic edge, but just put it where it fits, because, yeah, the relationship's faded. Page of Cups upside down. For you, at least. If I feel a bit of sadness, I'm not going to lie, I think this person's very upset. Yeah, it's a Tower. Because they were deceptive. And possibly deceptive to themselves. And now you don't trust them. You know, I'm sort of getting the metaphor that not only were you in the sea with them, they were dunking your head in. You know, like, you're like, well, I'm not going to go in the sea with you again, am I? Because it was already scary being in the sea. Yeah, teamwork here. I'm not sure why this person thought that you'd want teamwork with somebody dunking your head in the sea. I think they thought, because we've got 7 of Cups upside down, I think they thought you would never choose your mind over your heart. But I do think there was a divine intervention here. It's not that your heart's closed, it's just that your mind, your perspective changed when you found shore, when you've got your feet out of that water. You realised you don't want to be in that anymore. And Spirit did that for you. So it's not a case that you don't use your heart anymore. It was just you were in a stormy sea for a long time because of your big heart. And you simply won't go back to that anymore. Yes, the 2 of Cups upside down. So it does make me feel love. But you could just have had love for this people, places and things. You know, it doesn't have to be. But essentially, it didn't bring you happiness. And you recognise that now. Perhaps it could have been a bit unrequited. But I feel like this person deliberately did that to keep you off balance. Maybe just gave you enough, but you grew past that. You know, I feel like that's theirs. Yeah, Chariot. You're moving on. You don't. I'm inclined to say you don't care, but it's not a case of don't care. But it's sort of like it's got nothing to do with you anymore. Like, I genuinely feel like the chapter's closed. The being in that stormy sea, drowning and saving yourself and drowning, it's over. You're going to stay on land now, spiritual land. A Magician card's here, but next to manifest, because you're manifesting a new life with Spirit, and it could be leading to this job offer. And because I'm talking about sea and things like that, I think, and we saw travel earlier, maybe that's something's involved there. Yeah, so this person wanted you in the 4 of Cups upright. So, you know, just stuck, really. But now you're going to be heading to your motivation if you haven't already. But just trust, I'm hearing. Just trust. I'm also hearing you're very funny. Witty, possibly. Yeah, so perhaps you were getting bullied. By somebody who wasn't trustworthy. Perhaps they just couldn't do the job. They were sort of lawless in their own right. But essentially they just brought you conflicts. And the union and the three of Cups there, just it sort of moved from down to upright. So maybe it's weird. It's like now this person wants reunion. Now they know it's not on the table. But there is no table in the sea. They'd have to come to shore. But I think they've got a nice boat out there. They don't know how to. They don't know the shore. Yeah, this person deceived themselves, and you're planning your next moves. You're going you're going to be achieving something. And again, it doesn't have to be massive things. I know like lots of people do, but you know, yeah, working on something. Eight of Coins. Yeah, you recognise that this relationship or whatever it was just brought you heartbreak, and your heart's been broken enough so God could enter, and so you could find the shore. Yeah. Anything else, please, Spirit, for the highest good of all and God's will? Yeah. Six of Swords. You're moving on. You're moving on to calmer waters, but not calmer waters. I think you're staying away from water. Let me see what else I can just... I've been tempted and I've been called to just pull from here. Yeah. Don't worry about this person, okay? God is looking after them. So don't... If you feel like... Earlier we saw, you know, don't feel bad and things like this. I think it's because... And don't care so much. You might be pulling on their energy. You know, you might be pulling... Sensing their energy, especially if I'm dealing with someone here that's psychic. I think you could possibly feel this person's pain, but just know that God is looking after them, and you can pray for them if you so wish, but you don't need to worry about them. Yeah, this person was childish, and they know that now, and that's their lesson. That's their lesson. And I'm being brought to like dunking your head in the water and stuff. You know, it was just totally unnecessary. Yeah, this person's ego wasn't balanced, but it's going. But balance is here. Balance is here in your life, and their ego is going to get balanced. That's why God is looking after them, is making sure that their ego gets balanced, and you finding sure has done that. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for being here. And Archangel Michael, thank you for your protection, and please bless myself and the collective. So mote it be.